What are the challenges that these young people face?
Yeah. So in addition to the obvious challenge of like they don't have a place to live, I think that so many of them, typically the majority of them, have not finished high school. So now the jobs that are available to them are these minimum wage kind of dead end jobs with no benefit. So that makes it challenging. And then also they just haven't formed any connections in the community. So in terms of like, where do I go to get a job, or if I want to pursue post-secondary education, kind of where do I go? And then the final thing is that you know the young people are still developing. They're still in their early 20s, just learning what it means to be an adult, like all people in their 20s. And so that's just challenging period. And I think when you look at the stats, I can just speak to Canada, that more and more young people are living at home for longer periods of time because it's just really expensive now to live on your own. So if you think about it, like we're expecting young people who really don't typically have limited family support, limited resources, to do something that most young people in their 20s are no longer able to do. Yeah.
That's so extremely challenging. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, even my kids that are in their 20s, people can't find housing.
No, I know. I know. I
Yeah.
have three kids in their 20s. So yeah, I know. And so it's great for me to do this work with young people that are the same age as my kids,
Mhm.
because I think, man, like I don't expect my kids to do this. And and like you say, it's challenging for my kids to find housing.
Mhm.
And one's living in Vancouver, and less than 1% vacancy rate. And then,
Right.
and they have some resources to draw on, but if you don't even have resources, it's next to impossible. It's almost like setting them up for failure, really.
Mhm.
It's really challenging.
And do you think there's any stigma? I'm sorry, I'm going off script, but I'm interested. Any stigma on the part of sort of landlords and renting to younger folks and thinking that, they're going to party more, or maybe they're not the best bet? Because I think it's probably competitive. Well, I know it's competitive. Do you think there's a stigma there?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think even just some of the questions they ask you. So even just like a credit screening, a lot of people are like, like they're right off now. So they have a bad credit score because
Yeah.
sometimes some of our young people go to like check cashing places, and then they play these interest rates, and then they, end up with terrible credit scores. So there's that. Or your income is from Ontario Works or ODSP, and then people are like, I don't know, because they have in their mind what it means to be on OW or ODSP.
Hmm.
So yeah, so totally. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty tough.
Hmm. Hmm. And then just the final thing is I think that, and I guess you can understand it from a landlord's perspective, but they want the person, they like the, oh, I'm in medical school in third year and I have all these, da 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 da, and I have these parents that can back me up if I can't pay the rent. Of course, that's the
Hmm.
ideal tenant, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so yeah, our young people are really at a disadvantage.
Yeah, we find that significantly in Peterborough with both a college and a university, and the competitiveness for any kind of housing. Um, they go to the
Absolutely.
students. Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate because we all had to start somewhere, right? Like
Exactly.
we've all ended up having to pay our own rent and get our own place, and like that's just part of being a young adult and getting into the
Mm.
world. So it's
Yeah,
really
exactly,
unfortunate. But
Nicole. Like I think what it'll take is landlords that are more intentional. Like I want to support a young person exiting homelessness. So I'm purposely gonna not look for the university student, but I'm gonna purposely look for these young people to support.
Hmm.
yeah, I
Hmm.
completely agree.